Hey there. So I am at the beach today. It is also the last day of October, which means I'm like on video number 7 of 13 on domestic violence and the signs of abuse, systems of abuse. So I figured I should do a couple of videos while I am here at the beach this afternoon. So anyway, it's a little bit different than my normal. Hold on, check it out. See, here we go. Is this not amazing and so awesome? Yeah. It's been a little while since I've been to the beach. Long time, actually, like over a year, I think. But all right. So this is part of the systems of abuse. Can you hear me okay? Leave me a message here if you can hear okay. If you are watching this and discussions on understanding and how to recognize signs of toxic relationships and toxic behaviors, if that is something that is important to you or that you are learning more about, or that you have people in your group, in your people who follow your Facebook feed that need to be educated about this, please share. Please just hit the share button at the bottom, pass it on, increase awareness. Awesome. I'm glad you guys are here. Hi, Jenny and Dale and Simone. It's really nice to see you guys. Thank you for being here with me today. So I'm going to do a couple of videos back to back. And this one, number 7 out of 13, check out also the Systems of Abuse playlist on YouTube at youtube.com/Sarah McDugal, or right here on the Facebook page, either one. There's all the others are there, and I'll add this one there too. So we're going to talk today about 7 signs of psychological abuse. We have covered already. We have covered, hold on, looking at myself here, checking my little notes. We have covered child abuse, cultural abuse, emotional abuse, financial abuse, intellectual abuse, pets and property abuse, and physical abuse. Now, this does not mean that these are comprehensive and completely like all signs of everything, but these are common signs that are indicators of a toxic system of abuse, where there is a pattern of systemic power over that is shown in one of these areas or more of these areas. It's important to realize and remember that abuse is not an event. It is a system. It is a collection of patterns of behavior that are driven by the motivator. This is important, by the motivator of controlling the other person. So that means that being safety seeking or setting healthy boundaries or sticking to your conscience on things, these are not abuse. Abusers will accuse you of being abusive if you try to stick to your conscience, if you try to stand your ground on something, if you try to set good boundaries. So if you're being accused of abuse because you're seeking safety, setting boundaries, refusing to be manipulated, that does not make you an abuser. What makes an abuser is someone who is driven by a sense of entitlement that they have in the faith community very often, that they have a God-given right to take power over you by virtue of their role or their gender, etc. So that's what we're talking about. And it can also apply in toxic churches, toxic homes, of course, toxic patriarchal family systems, sometimes toxic matriarchal family systems. It can happen that way too occasionally, but it's much more common the other way around. Toxic workplaces, etc., etc. So psychological abuse, getting back to this, all abuse is driven by a core mindset of the entitlement to power over others. Psychological, here's 7 ways that, 7 signs. Sorry, lost my train of thought there for a second. It's distracting at the beach. Okay. 7 signs of psychological abuse. Number one, gaslighting. Someone who says or does things, sometimes even right in front of you, and then later says they never did it. And often, the bigger the lie, the more grandiose is the more entitlement that this person has, because they'll do something huge and then say, I never did that. And you can say, but I have it on video, or I have it on recording, or I have it in writing. And they're like, no, you forged it, or that wasn't me, or they'll pivot and deflect and refuse to acknowledge and take responsibility for their behavior. So this is crazy making behavior, and it makes you question your sanity. That's psychological abuse. Someone, number two, who terrorizes you. Someone who intimidates you, physically makes you afraid, or verbally terrorizes you, and then expects you to just move on as if the argument or the incident never happened. I just saw a post from someone just earlier today. Her husband blew up on her, called her all kinds of names, made her scared, locked her out of the bedroom. And then the next morning he gets up and he's making his coffee and he's like, hey, so, such and such actor died today. And just, talking about the news, talking about the weather, acting like nothing ever happened. And he's not doing that in that kind of situation. The person is not doing that to try to maintain peace. They're doing it because they simply aren't going to address the issue, not going to communicate about it. Number three, psychological forms of abuse. Controlling, often even the smallest aspects in your life. Telling you that having issues with you going somewhere without them. Having issues with you having friends that they don't like. Having issues with what you eat, with what you wear, with how you find things for fun, and often saying that it's because they care so much about you, but really what they're doing is stripping away your support base and your network so that there is no one else that could see through them. So the friends that you have that could see through them, they keep telling you that they don't like your friends. They don't like what their friends think. They want you to have friends who think just like them. There's a good one. How you load the dishwasher. That's just like super nitpicky. And hey, in a healthy relationship, if it's really important to one partner, one spouse, how the dishwasher's loaded, okay, help each other out. But if someone is abusive to you because you don't do things exactly the way they want it all the time, and they make it a thing where you're like less of a valued human because of it, then there might be a problem there. Here's another one. 4, projection. Projecting responsibility for their addictions or their compulsive behaviors or their choices, words, and actions, and saying, hey, well, this is your fault. I only did this because you did that. If you hadn't done that, I would never have done this, XYZ over here. So my choice to do this over here is completely your fault because you did something that I didn't like. Oh, wow. I see a comment saying, this is so on point. It's fire. I used to get accused of dressing up for other men, and I was literally just dressing for work. Those kind of things. Accusing you when there's no reason. Accusing you of meeting up with someone when you're not. Accusing you of going somewhere and saying, oh, well, maybe you have like a hot date with somebody when you're just gonna go do what you need to do. Living out of a position of insecurity and clinginess and control and jealousy is toxic. And it is psychological abuse. Number 5. So far we've got gaslighting or crazy making, we've got terrorizing, we've got controlling, we've got projecting. Number 5, displaying weapons as a way to keep you aware of how they could hurt you if they really wanted to. Now, I know that the world, especially in the United States of America, is definitely split between those who love their weapons and their guns and those who don't. But the fact is that in an abusive relationship, in a domestic violence relationship, the presence of guns when a husband is abusive and has a controlling mindset, or in a mindset that says he has a right to have power over the women in the house or the women and the children, the presence of firearms raises a woman's chance of being killed by him by 500%. Now, I am not taking sides on the gun conversation. I'm not saying you shouldn't have a gun. I'm not saying you should have a gun. I'm not making this a political point. I'm just saying, statistically speaking, if your abusive spouse, if he is obsessed with weapons, there is a 500% greater chance of those weapons being used. Just like if he's ever put his hands around your throat in physical, just like non-fatal choking of any kind, hands around your throat, there is a 750 to 800% higher chance of him killing you because of the mindset that goes with a man who will put his hands around a woman's throat. Okay, 2 more, and then we're done with this video, and I'll come back and do another one. Number 6, convincing you that you should let them make decisions for you. Refusing to take your stuff into consideration or to let you follow your own conscience. Being a conscience for you. Being your, telling you what you can believe theologically. Telling you that they know right and you are wrong. Shutting down your opportunity to have your own opinion and to disagree with them. How do people not know this? Because it can be really insidious. Because very often, I see that this is a question that just popped up underneath. How do people not know this? Because very often it starts out as someone saying how much they care for you and they want to protect you and they want to keep you safe. And then it turns into control. I'm going to do a separate video in just a minute on the 4 tools that abusers use. Stick around for that one. Number 7, though, in this list is threatening. Threatening to hurt you, threatening to hurt themselves, threatening to hurt others, threatening to kill themselves, threatening to kill others, or even bringing these things up in a joking way. I can't live without you. If I can't have you, nobody will. If you leave me, I just don't know how I would go on living. These kind of things are psychological abuse. They're manipulation. They are dangerous. If you are experiencing this type of thing, if this is present in your relationship, please consider getting help. This is a form of domestic violence. And I have included the National Domestic Violence Hotline in the description of this video. Please check it out, call, get some information, and see an assessment of whether or not you are in danger and if you need a safety plan. In the meantime, definitely check out www.wilderness2wild. There is a Systems of Abuse guidebook for recognizing dangerous and toxic relationships I have there. I also have a Systems of Love and Honor guidebook for recognizing safe and healthy relationships, signs of safe and healthy relationships. Definitely check those out. Scroll down on www, gotta have the www, wilderness2wild, all spelled out, .com. They're all there, as well as other books and coaching, all the things. And the YouTube channel is youtube.com/Sarah McDugal, McDugal. I would love to have your comments, love to have your messages. And you know what? If this has really moved you, if this is important to you, if there are people you know that need this, please share it. And I'll be back in a bit with the next video.